In this movie, we'll take a look at some of the considerations of whether you start drawing inside Anime for your project or whether you draw certain things outside of Anime and bring them in for compositing together in eventual animation. Anime Studio Pro has a fantastic drawing toolset. There's some great legacy tools that I wish other programs had, like Adobe Illustrator, and there are some brand new tools which are just fantastic time savers to work with. We'll cover all these over here on the left side as we continue through the series. But let's take a look at some considerations for things that you would want to work on in another program outside of Anime Studio Pro. While Anime is very good at what it does, it can't do everything as well as some other programs do. For example, I'm going to go ahead and activate a layer here called Star AI. If you have access to the working files, you can simply find this file and import it. Now, how do we bring it in? Just a real quick teaser, and we'll come back to this. Normally, when you create new layers in the Layers palette, you come over here to the New Layers button, you click on it, and you could choose Vector, which is what I'll do right now. Well, what it does is it creates a new vector layer, assuming that you want to begin drawing inside of Anime. So you can't navigate from this interface right here in the Layers palette to another place in the computer. To bring in a file to Anime Studio Pro that's a vector file, you need to come to the File pull-down menu, and we'll come down to Import. And we've got Vector File, and then we've got Adobe Illustrator File, which is this case, but you can also do the same thing with EPS files, and that's how I got the file in the system. Now back here on the star layer, let's look at what makes up this shape and why it's a good candidate for another program to draw it and then import it into Anime. A star is a fairly mathematically precise and complex shape. These shapes, the points occur every 72 degrees around a 360-degree circle. This yellow area that's inset is mathematically offset precisely to match certain things and then have rounded corners on the end. You know, you just can't do that in Anime. It's not designed for that level of craftsmanship. You can do this if you're not concerned about everything being perfect, and that's just really easy to do inside of Anime. But if you need precision, this isn't the best tool set for that because you can do things mathematically precise in other programs like spokes on a wheel, those types of things. Another item for consideration is Businessman. Now, I imported Businessman into the scene here, and you can do that by simply coming to the New Layers palette, clicking Image, and you get a modal dialog box. If you have access to the working files, that's where this fellow lives, and you can just click on it. I'm going to cancel because he's already in here. But of course, since Anime can't do pixel-based editing like this, it's not Photoshop or something like that, that's why it assumes immediately you're importing that. Let's zoom in on our character here a little bit, and I'll be using the mouse wheel for that. There are some really hand-drawn and organic types of looking shapes here. Anime can fake that to a certain extent, and you can work very hard at creating some of these natural effects inside of Anime, but you pay for it later on at the render time as it takes longer to calculate those features. We'll be doing some of that, so no worry about learning how to do it. But things like this guy's face with his red nose changing colors, all these little details that were quickly brushed in Photoshop, it takes a lot more work inside of Anime Studio Pro. You can go ahead and create entire characters like this in another program like Photoshop or Corel Photo Paint and assemble them inside of Anime, and we'll learn how to do that as we start getting into the character animation. But for this look, sometimes it's simply better to use another program and then bring in those files. Anime plays great with other programs.